Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to the website, sign up for our free membership for more videos like this, trade ideas, and live intraday action. StockBookie.com, guys. Go there, sign up, it's free. All right, daily spider, 64 million on the day. It was about 54 million, so it was light again, a little bit more than yesterday. We were up $1.15, and we closed above the all-time high. We talked about that. Now I'd like to see some follow-through, and now we're going to see where we close on a weekly basis on Friday. So tomorrow's close, pretty important. Next week's close on the weekly would be very important. If we start, especially if we go up into this area, then we could possibly see higher prices. Light volume continues, then we'll probably grind up. If we don't do that, then we'll look for sideways action, kind of like this. When it gapped up, we went sideways. Did come in, but then straight back up. So we'll look for sideways again, too. And if this goes sideways, then it's building up pressure to move up for the next, flight up to maybe the 245, 250 area. Now, if this area fails and it doesn't hold and it comes in, then we'll have to see how it reacts. A lot of support down in here. You got the big trend line and all that stuff. But right now, nothing wrong. Still above the MAs. Everything's right intact with what they want to do. IWM. IWM, on the other hand, though, could not get above the 20 MA. Almost filled the gap here. A lot of resistance right in this area from the consolidation, down move, retrace, get it back above this trend line, definitely, and the 50 MA. But it came back today, weak, though, 9 cents only on the intraday action. So not too much on this, but hey, 6 days up, a little bit of a pause right there. You'd expect it going into resistance. So we'll see what this one brings. Now, if this goes sideways and it's slightly bullish, down sideways is still bearish, but we might get an inside bar bullish pattern here once we get above the 20. If we do, then we'll watch for upside again. 140, 182 all-time high. And you're looking at the trend line here around 144, 143 area. So that's if we got one step at a time, but I wouldn't rule this out. Downside, you need to get below the 50 MA. Get below this little pivot here. You can almost do a trend line here too as well if you wanted to do that. But we'll keep this one in for now. Let's see how it reacts. But if it comes down, looking at the pivots, 200 MA, good support here. If this cracks, then you're going down in this area. So again, guys, nothing wrong, light volume, and just keep an eye on these markets. So we're going into the holiday week, so weekend. I wouldn't expect too much tomorrow, but if we get some news, everything's news right now. So if we get any news, then maybe up and down. But if we get nothing, it'll stay complacent. Watch the volume, like I said. The Qs, hats off. Above the all-time high. Had a little follow through here. I want to see this thing keep going, guys. It's got to stay above 140. To me, do we consolidate, then the move up, or does this thing try to make another move? Volume was a little bit more than yesterday. Keep an eye on this. I'd like to still see more volume. I'd like to see like the 50 million, 60 million on an up day. So, come on, guys, push this thing up. I want to see some conviction volume, nice follow through, and then, maybe 145 to the 150 area, maybe. Again, it needs to stay above 140. If it does slip back below the old all-time highs, then we got to keep an eye on this one. But again, above the MAs, nothing wrong, light volume. This market could keep going up. So watch the volume very closely. The DIA, again, it's just like one after another. You have gap fill, little pivot here. Instead of dealing with it, gap it up, and they gapped it above this line. Not that it's perfect, but it's right there. Let's see if we can continue. It's got to go through 211.59, and then possibly, we've been talking about up in here, 215, 220, and then the 225 area with the trend line. So let's keep an eye on that, see if it's going to continue grinding up. If this pattern just, if this comes right back in, then we'll look, get below here for more bearish. But right now, above the MAs, still in a bullish stance, not showing us much. Here it was like, all right, one day down. Let's see, we get some follow through. Never did, right back up. So that's pretty much the norm these days. Buy the dip, goes right back up. But big, up sideways, guys. This is bullish. This could pop out. So keep an eye on this pattern as well on the DIA. Volume, though, from the selling, the next day wasn't bad. They got some stuff going on, but then it came right back in. But I think that was the deal he made, Trump or something. Some more news, you know how it goes. All right, the IYT. Remember, the IWM's lagging a little bit, and so is this one until today. Still lagging a little bit where everything else is making all-time highs. But the IYT and the IWM are not making all-time highs, lagging. Not good. I always talked about that in the past, and we'll see what happens though. But gapped it above, kept it going. We're still running into some pretty good resistance up here, then double top, and this trend line goes through price. Not the best, but this is where it's been channeling. So now we're back in there. Big area right in this area, right around, I'm going to say 150 or 168 or so. That's what we're looking at. If we get above there, then we got a gap, and then we'll see. But right now, we're back in this channel. It's, see what happens tomorrow. If we get some follow through, or does this thing pause, or does it come straight back down and get below? It will be interesting going into the weekend. Um, Whatever. We need to see more evidence on the charts before we make a decision. These up moves, there's no pattern really other than 6 days up, coming into a little bit of resistance. So, all right, let's go into the USO. USO, what can I say, guys? I wish it would have came up here. We were talking here, maybe up in this area, good resistance, and just never did. It fell short, but good support here. Could we get a bounce, or do we gap down again? Maybe gap below here, and maybe go to this side. So right now, I wouldn't rule out the 943 area on the USO. But right now, we're in a pretty good area of support, so got to respect that. We still have gap fill right below it. I thought we might make it today, and we didn't. So you got to figure it's going to. But again, on the daily chart, coming into this area, pretty good area of support. I don't know. Tomorrow, we're going to see. I couldn't guess. But I wish it would have came up a little more. We would have took the short. I was waiting for a pop on the news. Never got it. I think that's what everyone was waiting for, and then it just fell. So I'm not chasing it down. I have a quarter position of the USO still from, I think it was this short or this short back here, where we took it, held a quarter, came up, added again, came down, held a quarter, went up in my face, and then it's coming right back down. I'm going to hold it. It's not a real big position, so not big deal, no big deal. I'm still in the money up here though. So USO is going down. I still think we're going double bottom, guys. And that's me. Let's see if it happens. But, you have this good trend line here. That's a good level. When it cracked, they had to get it right back above and get this thing going again. And here it comes again. It's going to retest this area. So be careful with the USO if you're trying to go long on it. The UUP, a little more bearish. Just like we talked here, down, sideways. They popped it, and it was like, all right, let's see what they give us. Slightly bullish now, still bearish, but a little bit bullish. And then when it came back in, it was like, when it got about here, it was like, all right, we're right back in action. Let's see if we go sideways. Instead, they just bring it down. Now I've been going sideways for about 5 days here, down at the lows, or this gap fill. Still have a gap fill down in here, and then ultimately this low pivot around 23.97 if it got there. You still have a gap down in here. You got to fill 24.15. So anywhere in this area, you could probably start to nibble if it got there. Still have a ton of gaps and stuff. This isn't the best chart to look at, but at least it tells you kind of what's going on here. Again, down, sideways. Do we retrace like we kind of did here? Pops into the 20 and then comes back in. But again, just wait for the pattern. 5 days sideways. If we keep going sideways, this thing's going to head down. That thing heads down. Oil should go up, but apparently maybe a little disconnect today. We'll see. Where did gold go? Gold was down a little bit. Well, the dollar up, gold down. That's how it usually works, guys. So keep an eye on that. GLD. GLD still consolidating above the MAs, nothing wrong, a little bit bullish, but 50% retrace on the back end. If you're taking this top to this bottom, it's about fit. It might be the 618 up in here. So keep an eye on that. I think it's building pressure for possibly popping up. You're going to watch this trend line. If it gets past that trend line, this could be a good area where at least go to 123.15. Then I think we'd retest this area here right around 125. You got a gap fill up in here. If we get past that, and I think we can still come up to the 130 area. That's what I'm kind of waiting for the second half. If I get into the 127, 128 up in here, I'm done. So that's what we're looking at. So we're going to look at if it does a trend line breakout here, or this is the ugly picture. This is the daily. This is a head and shoulder pattern starting to work its way out. So if this pattern fails and comes back in, this bullish pattern, this could be setting up for some downside. And if that happens, then you're looking at $8, 16. Yeah, right to double bottom. So if it gets back there, I'll add more. Right now, I'm still half position long in the GLD, but nothing wrong with this thing. Above the MAs, bullish stance, but bearish overall. It should move up. But again, markets are a little bit quiet, so anything's possible if someone wants to make something happen. the Jnug. All right, the Jnug. So really nothing wrong. I think we closed right below the 20 MA. Yeah, right below it. So I would like to stay above it, but you know, I'll have to respect that. But you know, I've been saying 14 to 20, got to take some profits here. People came back in. Even on this dip, it wasn't bad. 15.90. You know, get 15.90 or 16 bucks, it goes to 22. Expect some more selling, unless we get some massive move up or something. But right now, we're holding this, trying a little bit bullish, a little bit bearish coming down this way too. So got to get back above the 20, and even close up in here tomorrow. That would be nice above the $20 area. But one day at a time, guys. Let's see what tomorrow brings us, and then on the weekly too, we'll look at that on a weekly basis. That's what we're following more of the bigger time frames. These are swing trades that we're in. And that's what we're kind of sticking with. But the Jnug, we follow that one with the GDXJ. So GDXJ, nothing wrong. Did close below, barely below the 20 MA, but holding strong. We're holding above this trend line here too. And that comes from here. I mean, you could honestly go from there, but this was the first low pivot. And when it got below there, started going sideways. This I thought for sure would come down, at least fill this gap. Never did. Pop back up. So it was a time to come back down here and fill this gap down in here now. You got that one, and then you got the pivot around 27.44. So watch out for that. I mean, it could still pull back, but if it stays above these areas, it won't. You know, it's got a better chance of going up. If it starts to slip, fills the gap, comes back down in here, then you're probably at least the gap fill, and then the double bottom down in here. So down in here, maybe the Jnug on this support. We'll have to see what the markets are doing and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. It's been a long week, and I think I'm babbling at this point. So, but it's been pretty good. We covered some shorts. We added a bunch of shorts today on our list. So if you go to StockBookie.com, become a member, you can see the list of our trades. All of them are short. We're shorting mostly the high flyers. We take half positions, quarter positions to start with, and we slowly add. You got the high flyers like the Googles, the Amazons. You got to take those slow, guys. When we're up in no man's land and there's really no technicals, these things can go higher and higher and higher. You know, some of the shorts we're taking, you know, if you're sticking around in this video, Cena was one of them, guys. Monthly chart, you know, starting to get stretched, but we're right into the 100 even number up in this area here. So you got to take a stab up in there. What else do we add today? We added Costco. We added Yum Brands, another one that's flying. We went to double top here. We could possibly go a little higher, but this is a pretty good area to add. You know, I'm not going to buy here after $42 to $72. That's another one we added. What else do we put on? We put on Cena. We put on Pep. Where's Pep? Pep's another one that's starting to move. We're going to probably the 120, but you know, I want to put something in here just in case we get a quick pullback. You know, I'm only looking for 10 bucks, guys, a short trade here, and maybe 15 if we can get it. But I'm not looking for big moves. I'm looking for a move and get on and go on to the next one. Try to find another high flyer, guys. We put on Expedia, CRM, BLK, BBY. We put on an AAOI swing trade, and a couple more. So if you're a member here at StockBookie, you can see these trades. If you want to take some, great. If you don't, great. But they're slowly coming in. I think we have about 10 winners now. We've covered about 22 or 23 and a half positions. But we've also done where we covered, we added, we covered, we added. So we're slowly making money on these trades, guys. I'm older now, 46 years old, guys, and I just trade. I just put on a ton of positions and let them play out. It's just less stress for me. If you're a little more, you know, we do some intraday stuff that we try to get in and get it out, or sometimes we'll be in a couple days, stuff like that. So check that out. That's mostly on StockTwits. So, and again, guys, I really appreciate you following me and watching my videos and stuff like that. Hopefully, I'm helping a couple people out there make some money and make some decisions on taking profits and just stuff like that. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks again for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. God bless. See you on the charts.